Greetings, friends. This is Survival Doc. Today, I'm coming to you from down here in my bunker where I'm getting ready for the fallout of our current economic and political entanglements. At my website, I have a chapter called Survival Planning on a Budget, where I discuss ways to save money so that you can afford to buy the supplies you need for your survival stockpile. In this video, I will discuss one important way to save money by taking advantage of my favorite form of long-term food storage. And that's why I'm down here in my basement where I keep my canned goods. Canned foods are relatively heavy, so they may not be the best choice for your bug-out bag. But that's not a disadvantage for your home storage because you probably won't be hauling it around anyway. Canned foods are heavy because they contain a lot of water. But that can be an advantage because the extra source of water may come in handy during an emergency if clean water is in short supply. Cooking is always a part of the canning process because the foods must be sterilized by heat. So all canned foods are already cooked, and most foods can be eaten right out of the can. A big advantage during a disaster when energy for cooking may be in short supply or non-existent. Canned foods also come in very convenient sizes. One can contains enough food generally for one meal, so there are no concerns about refrigeration of leftovers. But the greatest advantage of canned foods is that they are inexpensive, especially when compared with other forms of long-term food storage like freeze-dried foods. Of course, with any form of food storage, shelf life is a consideration. Therefore, it is absolutely essential that you rotate the food that you have in long-term storage. That's why it is important to buy only what you eat and to eat what you buy. If you buy the foods you like, then you will have no problem using the foods you have in storage. But it is critically important that you rotate all of your foods, always using the oldest first. Whenever you buy a new can of food, you must put it all the way back, moving the others to the front, putting the new food all the way in the back. Then when you take a can from your shelf, you always take a can from the front. That way, you're always using the oldest first. Whenever I buy canned foods, I always check the best if used by date. And I write the year on the front of the can. And this helps me when I'm rearranging my cans or moving them around to keep the oldest in the front. That way I don't have to worry about reading the fine print on every single can. And while I'm talking about the best if used by date, realize that you can eat canned foods long after the date has expired. It is true that there is some loss in the quality of the food, perhaps in flavor, perhaps in texture, perhaps in vitamins. However, the food won't poison you just because it's past the best if used by date. However, never use food from a can that is bulging. Don't even taste it. As you know, canned foods also come in glass containers. And if you garden, you probably put some of your excess produce away in glass jars just like this one. There are a couple of disadvantages to glass jars. The obvious one is that they break easily. If you have an earthquake, you could lose much of your food storage if it is in glass jars. That is why it is important to protect the glass from breakage. The best way to do that is to put the jars back in the box that the jars came in and leave the partitions in the jar to protect the jars from banging against each other. The other disadvantage to glass is that it allows light to pass through, and light does speed up the deterioration of foods. This is not a problem if you keep your jars in boxes. This may be a problem for other foods, like this ketchup, which comes in a plastic container that I'm not worried about breaking, but light will pass through the clear container. This problem is solved very simply by keeping the container in a brown bag. Remember, store what you eat and eat what you store. And above all, don't forget to rotate all of your foods, always using the oldest first. This is Survival Doc, reminding you Be prepared, or be prepared to be fleeced.
Hello, Pinellas Urban Survivalist. This is Southern Patriot here. Today I thought I'd do a video explaining how to put together a bug out bag or a bob on a budget. I've been unemployed, unfortunately, now for probably close to 8 months. So knowing that with the things going on around us and the potential possibilities, especially being here in Central Florida, of hurricanes and the potential possibility of a financial collapse happening at any time, one of the things that I'm most concerned about is my family and myself, and making sure that we're prepared for any event that might come around. So what I've done today is I've kind of spread out all the contents I have for my bug out bag for my vehicle. And being on a very tight budget, I put this bug out bag together probably over the course of about 3 weeks. I've made a couple of trips to the dollar store. Been kind of creative with some of the things that I've had, just to kind of, put together something that in the event of an emergency out on the road, I'd be able to survive for at least 72 hours. So let me go through some of the contents, and I'll kind of give you an idea of where I got them and what the cost of each item was. Let me start out with the bag itself. This bag I purchased from a military surplus store for $3, but believe it or not, I got two. It was 2 for $3. The rope was 50 cents from also a military supply store, as well as a duct tape that I've had lying around. I've got some webbing on here that I purchased from Ace Hardware, which was 29 cents a foot, and the buckles for it were 49 cents for the buckles. You can actually make your own webbing. It's really, really easy, and you can add it to any bag or backpack or any kind of setup that you have. So altogether, you figure $1.50, two plus the duct tape I had lying around, and say altogether about $4. Here's bottled water that I've got. This came from a case of bottled water that I purchased at Save-A-Lot for $2.39. Since it's for the vehicle, I've only got 2 bottles, and those bottles fit on inside each one of these pockets. Here I have I guess you'd say a tool belt or tool apron from Lowe's that I purchased for $1.50. Figured that'd come in handy in the event, if you're setting up any gear or you need to place straps or any of your tools while you're working, you can have that stuff quick so you don't have to keep digging inside the bag. Another Ace Hardware item was this fancy LCD flashlight I got for 99 cents. Bought this during the Christmas season, so they had a lot of specials going on, and it was really bright. 99 cents, I couldn't beat that. Here's an old candle from scented candle from a while ago. No sense in buying another one. It smells good, keeps the bag smelling good. It's kind of comforting too in the event that power were to go out. You'd be able to burn a candle and you'd have a scent, something that would kind of make you feel a little more homey. This is a poncho that I purchased from Walmart for $1.99. This is from the dollar store. It came in a pack of 4. I took out 2 for my vehicle bob, and then my home bob, I got the other 2 in there. These are straps that I purchased at the dollar store. It was actually a set of straps. There's another set that are orange that came with that for $1 from the dollar store. Each one of these items came from the dollar store. Believe it or not, this one was at Largo Mall. This was $1. This was $1. These were 2 for $1. Again, back to being creative. These crackers here, this came from a takeout order, which I figured would come in handy later on down the road. They keep for a while. We have the flavor mixes. I got a box of these for $1 from the dollar store. This is a Save-A-Lot item. Got a box of those for $1.50. That was from the dollar store. Here I have some coffee filters. Always purchasing them because I'm a coffee drinker. But saw a video on YouTube that you can actually filter out some of the big stuff in water with coffee filters. You can also use it as a dust mask in the event of an emergency. So I've got about 5 of those wrapped up in some cellophane, and I wrapped electrical tape around there. So in the event I need any additional tape, I can use that as a resource as well. I've got a silver Sharpie that I got from Lowe's. The reason why I got this is you can actually see it if you need it. Drawing on any dark surfaces, maybe some dark wood, a tree, or anything along those lines to act as a marker. Notepad, got a package of 4 of those from the dollar store. This here is hand sanitizer, which I purchased from the dollar store. It was a 2-in-1 pack for $1, which comes in handy. This is just toilet paper from a roll of toilet paper that I have, and I wrapped it around the end of a ballpoint pen. Toilet paper comes in handy a lot, especially I have kids. In the event you're ever on the road and say something does come up, this is a good way to go ahead and kind of take care of business without messing up anybody's clothes or anything along those lines. In this tin here is I have a nicotine habit. It's snus, but the tin came in handy. Inside this tin, if I can open that up, I have a $1 keychain light, matchsticks, a can opener, and a striking plate, as well as a couple of mints in there. And all of this was the most expensive thing was the $1 light for the keychain. Just decided to take the tin, put the items in there, close the tin up, takes a little bit of space, and it's items that you can use. As you can see, these are Sonny's barbecue wipes. Those could also come in handy. This came in a set of 2 at the dollar store. This is liquid skin. Instead of carrying Band-Aids around, it's kind of like an adhesive to close the wound and stop the bleeding until you're able to get some additional attention. Again, dollar store clippers. This is a mechanic's towel. There was a set of 4 in those also from the dollar store. Figured it'd come in handy. Cleaning up messes, maybe stopping any bleeding, anything along those lines. Here is the famous Sport from Taco Bell, one of my favorite restaurants to eat at. Have plastic spoons and knives that I've gotten from previous orders that when I've gone out, or just stopping someplace and they have it. It's a good idea to maybe take some of that plasticware, and you could store it away and use it in any survival bag that you have. Now for some of the main food. This was a $1 package from the dollar store, the same one in Largo Mall. I figured for the price, and it keeps until well into 2012. I got this probably beginning the middle part of this year, so that's going to keep for a while. Another dollar store item. This was actually, I got this from a box of hot chocolates. I don't remember how much it cost. I just figured something nice to have, something comforting, maybe to replace coffee if you're stranded anywhere. Just sort of a flavored drink, something to just kind of spice things up. A hot drink, change things up just a little bit. Over here, this is Brunswick chicken salad and crackers. I'm not sure if you guys have ever had this. This stuff is delicious. I thought it was a steal when I found this at the dollar store as well. This was also $1 at the dollar store. These are chicken of the sea tuna sandwich mixes. Of course, you're not going to carry bread with you, but with crackers or even one of the sporks just to have as a snack, that's pretty darn good. And then a boot knife that I have. This is Southern Patriot from Pinellas Urban Survival. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and maybe some creative tips that can help you in building your own bug out bag. Have a great one.
Hey guys, this is Chuck, and a lot of people make silly statements like, well, you can't eat silver. Now once you've got your food stores in place and you're as a prepper and got the essentials, and you want to keep some cash as well. As things get rough and you're not going to sell your silver, you're going to spend your silver. I'm down here at the corner store. A friend of mine named Sam owns it, and he is an American, but originally from the old country. Now, he's from India, where they still understand what real money is. Their education system has not dumbed them down to the point where they think that a piece of paper that can be created by Ben Bernanke ad infinitum has value. So I've got a 50-cent piece here, and I'm going to buy me a 6-pack of beer and a candy bar, which, what's the total on that, Sam?
$11.13.
Is $11.13, which is a little bit more than this coin showing its value today. But because silver's been hammered so hard the last couple of weeks, I've condemned giving me more than it's worth. That's called barter. So I'm going to go ahead and swing this around here so that you'll know this is true. Sam is real shy, doesn't want his face on the video. So there's what I'm buying, and I'm going to turn this down where Sammy's face isn't in it so he can stay anonymous. Sam, grab that 50-cent piece. All right. And we just did a transaction with silver. I just turned silver into food. So don't tell me you can't eat silver when things go bad in this economy and the dollar tanks. I'll talk to you all later. Strength and honor. This is Chuck.
Being ready for a major disaster, it's no longer the realm of militiamen hidden in the mountains.
A shaky economy, recent catastrophes fueling this growing movement of soft-core survivalists who could be your next-door neighbors. 7 News reporter Jacqueline Allen introduces all of us to Colorado's Preppers Network. It's a story you'll see only on 7 News.
If there were ever a disaster in Frederick, Colorado,
from the outside looking in, nobody could really know.
this house is probably where you'd want to be.
Come tickle you.
Ron and Heather Douglas and their 6 children may seem carefree, but they are new members of a growing online network getting ready for the worst. They call themselves Preppers.
Is this paranoid? No.
We don't think so. We think we're very normal. But
Remember post-Hurricane Katrina? The government was criticized for not delivering food and water fast enough, even in Colorado.
a couple of years ago, we had 3-4 foot snow. People couldn't leave their house. We had neighbors that didn't have enough food for 3 days.
But the Douglases were preppers when preppers weren't cool. Starting with a 72-hour emergency kit for everyone in the family.
Granola bars, raisins,
Complete with food, water,
flashlight, glow stick,
and supplies for 3 days. For staying home,
This is our emergency water storage.
they have 3 months water supply, a year's worth of oil changes, and a winter's warmth for their wood-burning stove.
The Douglas family has a food pantry to rival a grocery store. Enough food to feed 8 people for a year.
It can start as simple as just buying a few extra things at the grocery store when you're there.
They also stock up from their backyard garden.
I really like to can, and so when we can grow a lot of it ourselves, it makes it so they eat more nutritious food, and we also can put it up and save money.
All this prepping has already paid off.
I was out off-roading in our vehicle, and we got stuck. And I was way out there. I had the whole family with me.
The car's emergency preparedness kit came in handy. The family camped while Dad hiked to get help.
I think it's our responsibility to be prepared for circumstances that happen in our lives.
They're no survivalists. They live in the suburbs, but they say the preppers movement is the reason they can feel carefree.
I think there's a sense of freedom that comes with being independent and relying upon yourself for things. I don't think it can come any other way.
In Frederick, Jacqueline Allen, 7 News.
Also recommend having a financial reserve, at least 3 months living expenses set aside in case you lose your job. For tips on creating your own food storage pantry and what you should include in your emergency supply kit, go to thedenverchannel.com.
What's up, YouTube? Jawar105 back again. Okay, so here's the situation, right? I got forwarded this video called the new Black Swag Revolution, and in it, this dude, his name is Kalonzo Hart. He makes a video that compares the Dougie, the teach me how to Dougie, like that whole thing, and what black people are doing on a given day-to-day basis, as opposed to white people who are preppers. Some of them, it's kind of like, okay, what I didn't like about the video and the depiction of the white people in it were that, from the impression that I was getting, was that all of the white people in it were these racist, gun-toting dudes waiting for a race war. Okay, I don't know the guy who made the video. I've never actually like talked to him before. Excuse me. But anyway, just to give you kind of idea of where my head's at, this right here, this is this month's issue of Backwoods Home magazine. I've been reading this for about two and a half years now. It's basically a magazine. If you look at it, you know, drive your own well, LED lighting, moral mushrooms, dehorning calves, drinking goat milk. This is a magazine that is about preparing yourself for being self-sufficient. Okay. Yeah, I've been part of the whole, I don't know, I guess you could say prepper movement, whatever. Basically, ever since I'm gonna say about 2008 was when, you know, I don't know exactly who I was reading or listening to at that particular time. It's probably a culmination of a bunch of things I was listening or reading to at the time, where I realized that, you know, hey, you know something, our economy is gonna go to shit. Okay, so I gotta start doing what I gotta do to take care of my family. Okay, so that includes weapons, food storage, learning how to plant, you know, grow stuff, grow your own food, learning how to hunt, learning how to fish. Matter of fact, hey, you know something? You got to start somewhere. So anyway, I've only been fishing twice in my life. Okay, Sunday was the second time I'd ever gone fishing, and it was ice fishing because I live up here in Alaska. I've only been up here for about a year and a half, and yeah, I went ice fishing for the first time. I caught something. I gutted it. I cleaned it. My wife cooked it, and we ate it. Okay, so I'm learning. I'm not perfect, but I'm learning. All right, now back to what I was going off at. Okay, anyway, basically the way he depicted everybody in these videos, all the white people in the video, was that they were like the impression that I got anyway was that they were all racist. Now he did show some pictures or some video clips of some guys who were straight up racist. They had the Nazi, you know, tattoos and stuff in the back of their head, and they were skinheads and all that, right? In another part, he showed a couple of militias who were training. Now, there was a guy, I can't remember his name. There was a militia in Michigan that had a black leader. Okay, this was a black dude who was a leader of a militia of white dudes. I think it was a pretty mixed bag, but anyway, there was a leader. So there are black people in the militia movement. There just aren't very many of them. There was another guy, and right now I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but there was a guy he showed in the video, tall white guy. He had black sunglasses. He talked about the difference between defending on a position and flanking. That guy is actually part of Mr. Lock and Load's crew. I made a video about Mr. Lock and Load, and I think he's pretty cool. And he's not a racist. He's a prepper. And what he's doing is he's preparing himself. He's got his little group. He's got his friends, his family. They've got their families, and they're in this little area. And they know that basically the shit is going to hit the fan, and they are ready and they are prepared. And they are going to do what they got to do to take care of themselves and their families. Okay, if you meet up with those guys and you actually want to work and you got some weapons or something and you want to, you know, do the right thing, they will probably take you in. Doesn't matter what your color is. Okay, just want to get that out there. Not everybody who wears some multicam and has, you know, an assault rifle, if you want to call it that, and they're white and they have a beard is racist. Okay. The thing is, and I really hate to say this, but a lot of white people have figured out that this is going to happen. Okay. The writing is on the wall. Okay. Our economy sucks. We keep spending. Nobody wants to stop spending, either Democrat or Republican. So now you have this tidal wave of pissed off people. Most of them are white, and they realize that right now the direction our country is going is unsustainable. They get called racist because they don't support Barack Obama. Some of them are racist, okay? Not all of them are. To be honest with you, I think probably about 10%. And those guys are probably in their little, Aryan Nation, KKK kind of, skinhead groups or whatever, all right? Not all of them are racist. But anyway, yeah, it's sad, man. It's sad that most black people don't realize what's going on with the economy. I mean, they know they're having trouble with getting jobs, but I hate to, kind of paint a broad paintbrush here at my race, but yeah, most black people don't know what's going on. They don't know what inflation is. They don't know what hyperinflation is. Matter of fact, there's a guy, I've given him props before. I'll put a link. His name's Stylistic. His Yahoo channel is Mr. Monstrosity, and he just recently did a video about a week ago where someone asked him, why won't printing more money work to save our economy? And I think it's sad that he has to actually explain this. I mean, it's not like you have to have a freaking degree in economics to understand this. I mean, everyone's got a computer nowadays. You can look this shit up on Google. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. But the point is, I hate to say this, but black people are behind the curve on this. And I would really like to see more black people getting out of the city, moving into the country, buying land. You don't need a whole lot of land. An acre's fine. You don't need 40 acres and a mule. An acre and a mule will be fine. Small house, and you can start planting stuff. You can start growing stuff. You can start learning how to hunt. You can start learning how to fish. You can start learning how to trap. And you can be self-sustaining out there, right? But when I say this stuff, people tell me I'm crazy. People tell me I'm fucked up. People tell me I'm an Uncle Tom. I'm sorry, man. I can't fix everybody. I can only fix me and my family. I can't do it. I don't have enough money to, and I'm not rich, okay? I can't do it. I try to tell people, I try to warn people. I used to make videos on GenerationX.net and talk about, hey man, look, you got to get out of this because GenerationX.net is a thing that deals mostly with problems in the African American community, right? And I put a video on there about survival and stuff. Hardly anybody watched it. Nobody really commented. But if you go on there and you put a video about saying something about black women, everybody watches that. And everybody comments, but nobody's saying. It's just sad, man. I really wish that I wish I was more charismatic enough to get more black people to see what's coming up here. And I really hate to say it, but what was that? I think it's like 95% of the black community voted for Obama, dude. Barack Obama is supporting policies that are making our economy even worse. I mean, and I don't know everything about it. I'm on Percocet. I'm not at the greatest mental faculty right now, but now we got bombings going on in Libya. We're going into another war. We already got Iraq and Afghanistan going on. We can't even finish that up. And now he wants to go messing around in Libya? Come on, man. I mean, dude. And I'm not even that smart. And then, he's printing money. He's up there with Paulson and Bernanke, and they're printing money. That's gonna work. I mean, even in Mr. Monstrosity's video, and I've talked about it before too, in a different forum with a bunch of liberals, I was just like, look, man, printing money don't work. It does not work. Go to Zimbabwe. Everybody's a freaking millionaire in Zimbabwe because their money ain't worth nothing. It's monopoly money. It's play money. It's garbage. It's gotten to the point now that people actually pan for gold now because the gold that they can find is in the river. The little bits and pieces that they can find is worth more than the money that they have there because their money is shit. Because it's inflated. They just keep printing it and printing it. It's garbage. I think a what do you call it? A loaf of bread is like $1 million of their dollars or something. The Weimar Republic right before what do you call it? World War I, or was it World War II? God. Anyway, Google it. The Weimar Republic. Okay, they hyperinflated the hell out of their money too. Didn't work. And I, you know, people tell me I'm a sellout or something, and I'm stupid, I'm crazy because I don't support Obama. I knew the guy was gonna freaking do it. I knew he was gonna inflate the money supply. He was gonna inflate it, and I said, and I'm a sellout. So anyway, I wish I saw more black preppers. I wish I saw more black people in the know that knew what was going on. But I don't see it, and it makes me sad. And you know, I'm for the most part, I'm pretty ready. I'm getting more ready. You know, every day I'm thinking about, you know, well, what do I need to get myself and my family right for the coming economic collapse. And you know, I'm getting mine. I hope you get yours. I hope you stop doing a Dougie. I hope you know, stop worrying about superficial, stupid stuff like you know, Michael Vick and T.I. and Lil Wayne and all this. And I don't know. Listen to Alex Jones. His podcast is free. He's got videos all over YouTube. His movies, you can watch his movies on YouTube for free. I would really suggest that you get into him. I would suggest you get into Ron Paul. Listen to him. Bob Barr. You listen to him. He's a good cat. I voted for him last term. I knew he wasn't going to win, but hey, you know, I'm voting what I feel in my heart. And I wasn't feeling Obama. I sure as hell wasn't feeling John McCain. So, anyway, that's all I got. Take care, y'all.
In this video, I'll demonstrate my version of a shit hits the fan survival backpack. And, you know, I guess you could call me a prepper, that's what they go by, but really I just consider myself prepared for any kind of situation like natural disaster, a nuclear disaster, power grid failure, economic collapse, martial law, war scenario. You know, a lot of different things can happen. When they do and everybody's fending for themselves, you've got to be prepared and you want to be able to survive. And another thing to preface this with is that I kind of tried to gear things more towards urban survival. Obviously, if you really think about it, wilderness and nature are going to eat you up unless you're extremely experienced and extremely skilled. So, and nature is extremely unforgiving. So, practically, for most people of most skill levels, urban survival is going to be your main solution. So you want to gear more towards that. And also, I try to keep everything as lightweight and compact as possible. Everything I show you in this video will fit into a single backpack, which I'll show you at the end. And so I try to keep myself as mobile and lightweight as possible, and that's kind of my mindset with each one of these items. So I'll go one at a time. I purchased each of these one at a time. Everything was kind of my own idea. I didn't use a prepper guide to build this. I did everything on my own, one thing at a time. There are prepper guides out there if you want a guide to kind of help you build your own backpack. Start out here. This is just a basic essential U.S. Air Force Survival Handbook. It's got all kinds of information in it, just, you know, more towards outdoors, but some sort of all-purpose urban survival in there too. But shelter building, you know, tracking, navigating, how to hunt, a lot of different things in there. And this is probably, go ahead and start out with one of the most essential items you would want in a kit like this. It is a, I believe it's pronounced Katadyn, I'm not sure. But it's a water filtration, and it's a little pricey, but you know, if you're going to spend anywhere, you need a water solution. That's the most important thing. I'm not going to take it out of the case, but it is all contained in this pouch right here, and it's just a pump that you pump the water through, and it comes out through a hose. This filter is good for, I believe, 20 or 30,000 gallons, which is a lot. For a single person, that'll last you for years. For 2 people or more, it'll be a little less than that, but it's still definitely a long-term solution. Also great, you know, in any of these kind of situations, not many people will have access to clean drinking water, more than likely. So it's also a great bargaining point and also a way to help others. So a great solution there. Most of these things you can find on Amazon or eBay, or if you just Google search them. The Katadyn filter I bought on eBay, that was where I found the best price. That survival book was on Amazon. I didn't mention this with the survival manual, but to kind of go along with it, I probably would not include this in the backpack, which is why I almost forgot to show you it. But it'd be a good thing to just have as just knowledge to read beforehand or whatnot. And it's called Nature's Garden. It's about edible plants and edible berries in the wild. Very good knowledge to have, especially if you just absolutely have to survive out in the wilderness. If you have no other options, you've got to have food. Hunting is not always a reliable method. Trapping can be, but you know, you've got to be able to have plant solutions as well. And I'll go ahead and just mention this here too again. This probably would not go in the backpack, may or may not. If you needed to save weight, save space, you could do something small like this. Just a little SAS survival guide. It's good quality too. I think the U.S. Air Force one is a little more thorough, which is why I choose to include that one. But again, if you want to save space or save weight, go with something small like that. Okay, back to the backpack items. This is a large Ka-Bar brand knife. This is a must-have. Any kind of knife is a must-have. This you can find on Amazon. Ka-Bar, if you're not familiar, it's Ka-B-A-R. I'm not a knife expert, but I did research, and this is a full-tang blade. Very high-quality steel. Nice. It's got a good grip on it. It's a nice balanced weight in the hand. I kind of debated a little bit. It's a little heavyweight to keep in the backpack, and as you see in a minute, I have another knife as well. But you could also keep this on your waist. There may or may not be situations where you want a large knife like this visible, which is one of the things that made me hesitant. But I'm not planning to have a gun or firearm of any kind, so this would be my single solution for self-defense. So I figure it's good if you're going to have a knife as your self-defense solution, you want one that's intimidating and fairly large. So put that in there. And as I mentioned, I have a second knife, again Ka-Bar brand, and I don't remember the model numbers on either of these knives, but you can find them both on Amazon. There's a lot of Ka-Bar knives on Amazon. These ones are fairly easy to find if you just go ahead and search for them. This one, if I had to pick one knife between the two, or really between any knives, for all purpose, this would be the one I would pick. So if you're looking for just a single knife solution, I would suggest searching for this one. It's actually thicker than the one I just showed you. It's smaller, but it's thicker. Very durable, very strong. This thing could put up with years of abuse. One of the things I like about this is it's got the 2 holes right here, if you can see it, and then one down here. You could use this to function a spear with using some Technora cord, which I'll show you later. You'd have to have a pretty heavy stick because this is a heavy knife, but there's a lot of different things you could do with this knife. Very versatile, very multi-purpose. And each of these knives have their own sheaths. You can attach them to your belt, or you could even attach them to your backpack. I mean, whatever would work for you. There's a lot of different solutions. Strap on there, and then we're getting into kind of more straightforward, simple things. This is just a black skull cap. You know, common sense, keep your head warm. Nothing too brightly colored, nothing too distracting. I try to keep things relatively low key. You know, more times than not, you probably don't want to draw a lot of attention to yourself. You'd rather blend in. So a lot of darker colors, earthy colors, blacks. Here I have a lot of different bandanas. Now it looks like a lot, but I'll go ahead and explain. These 2 right here are just your simple, basic bandanas. As we all know, white is the international symbol for surrender, the international color. You know, anything would work, a towel, a piece of clothing, a bandana like this, but anything that's white that you can flag, use as a visual signal, especially in an urban situation, if you're facing a hostile threat, and you want to signal that you are not a threat, or that you surrender to them, if you can't, you know, defend yourself, or you can't run and hide or whatnot. You know, a visual signal when you can't verbally communicate effectively is definitely a good thing to have. And then along the same lines, this is a bright orange bandana you could also use for signaling if you're in a rescue situation, or if you need to alert somebody to something, if you need to get help. Way to draw attention to yourself, something brightly colored like that. And then these 3 bandanas, I might not include them all. I just got them all in one spot right now to keep them together. But they are, the brand is Ex Officio. You can find these on REI.com. They're actually infused with a insect repellent. So, especially in the wilderness, you could take 1 or 2 or multiple of these, wrap them around your neck, put them over your backpack, around your leg, whatever you want to do. And, you know, a lot of different functions help keep you warm, you know, stuff like that, but it also help you repel the insects. Definitely would help you a little bit in the wilderness. So, throw a couple of those in there. Here I have a pair of gloves. These gloves are used. I may replace these with a new pair, but they are leather fingerless gloves. Definitely in an urban situation, again, you're going to have shards of glass, probably broken glass, shards of metal. And you definitely want to protect your hands from getting cut with items like that. You don't want to get infections. But even in the wilderness, you know, chopping and handling wood, hunting, just anything, you want to protect your hands from injuries. So a good pair of gloves. I chose to go fingerless for myself, but you know, you can find what's best for you. Let's see, I've got here, this is some heavy duty duct tape, all weather, water resistant, 3M brand. It's a little darker than your standard duct tape, so it blends in a little better. I debated whether or not to put this in the backpack, as it is a little heavy. But you know, for emergency repairs on my backpack, you know, when you don't have time to secure things with rope or whatnot, something like this would be a quick and simple solution. Very multi-purpose. Here I have a flashlight. I actually received this as a gift for Christmas. I was not going to include a flashlight originally, but it is a great idea. This is a Phoenix brand, F-E-N-I-X. It's waterproof, submersible, very durable, high intensity light. It's got its own case. It's fairly lightweight, so especially in an urban environment, you know, when you're going to have places where you don't have natural light and there's no power inside buildings, inside warehouses, anything like that, you're going to want some kind of light source. Here is, and to go along with the flashlight, I also found these. Originally, I wasn't going to have a flashlight or any kind of battery-operated devices, because I thought of it as kind of a temporary solution when the batteries run out. You don't have anything, so you need to plan for not having batteries. But I found these on Amazon. They are Energizer brand Ultimate Lithiums. These are AA's. I'm not sure if they come in different sizes, but you can search for these on there. Again, lithium Energizers. The expiration date on these batteries specifically is 2026. So if you're looking for a battery solution for your survival kit, in your survival shelter or whatever you have, something like this is great. 10 years from now, these will be ready to roll. So, and they're also supposed to last very long when they're in use. So if you're going to have a battery solution, that's probably the way to go. You're not going to be able to recharge batteries, so you don't want to do rechargeables. And then here is a first aid kit. Now, this says Easy Care as the brand, which is an excellent first aid kit if you can find it online. It's originally what I bought, but I also had a few other first aid kits, so I kind of piecemeal from each one and kind of custom built this. And I actually need a bigger case for it, so I may still get a different case. But I'm not going to take anything out, but this has a lot of different things in it. I kind of geared it more towards large wound treatment, because those are going to be the most critical to take care of. Smaller wounds you may or may not be able to treat with just clean water and keeping them covered. But I've got large, I've got medical tape in here, medical wrap, some different little first aid guides, large bandages, an emergency ice pack, different creams and, wound treatments, so some medications in there. So just kind of an all-purpose first aid kit to have. You definitely want some kind of first aid kit, and also, I don't have it in that right now, I still need to put it in, but I bought a little suture kit on Amazon.com. You can find it. It says it's for veterinarian use only, but you could use it, and you definitely want a suture kit for large wounds that need some kind of stitching, and you can't just bandage them up and hope they heal on their own. You're going to want some way to suture it up, so I highly recommend looking something like that up. It's small, can fit in a kit like that, no problem. And here, this is kind of my own idea. It's just a very simple, straightforward journal. Especially in the wilderness, if you you want to be able to record locations that you find where there's food. You want to be able to record where you put your traps, where you found shelter or shelter materials. So it's practical in that sense, but it's also great for recording your thoughts, helping kind of keep your sanity, writing down your ideas. So just I kind of consider it a comfort item, but it has practical purposes as well. So I recommend something like that. And then, let's see, I got something. And then to go along with that, I've got 3 of these mechanical pencils, and then a thing of some extra mechanical lead as well. Obviously just help keep you writing, keep your journal going. Lightweight. I just threw this in recently, very small in my way, but it's a little thing of earplugs. And again, when I'm talking about urban survival, something like this, if you're facing LRAD sirens, this is going to protect your ears. So you definitely want a solution like that. And it's very lightweight, very small. So I recommend putting something like that in there. And I'll go ahead and toss this in now too. It's not going to go in the backpack most likely, but again, along the urban survival situation, I'll explain. This is a large scarf. I forget what they're called, but you can find them on Amazon. As you see, it's a very large material. But it is a scarf, and you can wrap it around your neck to help keep you warm. A lot of different uses. You can use this if your water filter gets lost, you just can't use it anymore for some reason. This is always emergency water filtration to filter the water right through the fabric. You could use it. You could actually function a sling out of this. You could use it to wrap up wounds or sprains. But again, kind of like the earplugs, you could also use this if you don't have a gas mask of any kind. You can put this around your face to protect yourself from tear gas or fumes of some kind. So it's good to have a solution like that. I'm going to keep that out of the backpack for now. And then we're nearing the end here. Here's a small emergency repair sewing kit containing this little case right here. It's got a heavier duty thread for if you need to repair your gear for repairing my backpack, but also your clothing that would work as well. It's got the sewing needles, the bobby pin, anything you need for emergency repair for sewing. Here I've got a fire starter. The brand is Firesteel. You can go to firesteel.com and find this. It's your typical fire starter if you've never used one. I actually haven't used it, but I have seen videos on how to use them. You just scrape it, and it gives you sparks that you would use for your tinder. And I'm not sure what this model right here, I think it's called Apocalypse or something. But you go on Firesteel. I think you can find them on Amazon.com too. And I keep it in this small Ziploc bag just to keep it from making contact with other items. Here I have a compass. Probably in an urban situation, you may or may not need to use a compass. You could probably use more landmark-based navigating. But in a wilderness situation where you don't have as many landmarks to go by, compass is a must-have. It's also got a magnifying glass on it. So, if for any reason my fire starter got lost or I wasn't able to use it, as long as there's sunlight, it's going to be always a last-ditch effort for starting a fire. May or may not work that well, but it's better than nothing. And here's a good item to have. This is actually called Technora cord or Technora rope. I'm not sure which it goes by, but if you do go ahead and do a Google search or go on eBay, I got this one on eBay. They may have it on Amazon as well. It's actually thinner and stronger than the parachute cord that a lot of people have in their prepper survival backpacks. And it's a good length. I can't remember how long this bundle is, but it's very long. You could use this for rappelling, securing items, emergency boot laces, just about anything that you would need rope for, this would do. So, again, look up Technora. I think it's Technora. You can search for it and find it online. And lastly, for the backpack, this is just a small knife. This is just a knife I had on hand that I threw in there. I didn't purchase this for this backpack. It's fairly simple, straightforward, just a fold-out locking knife. This would be better for just smaller tasks, for anything you would need it for. But you could get by with just a single like that larger K-bar knife. You could get by with something like that too if you didn't want to keep something small like this. I just threw it in there. Something small doesn't take up much space. And then finally, before I throw this backpack on, let me get into the outerwear a little bit. I have no military experience at all, not any military know-how for the most part, but I will tell you that I think most military people will tell you if they've been in the field, take care of your feet, number one. That is the most important thing to take care of. So with that said, I've got here a pair of, I researched these. These are great quality socks. I believe they are a wool synthetic blend fabric. They are warm. They're very long lasting, comfortable. You know, probably better to have a couple pairs of these. I've only got one single pair. But you definitely want to research, find a great pair of socks to have. And then here is a great pair of Zamberlan boots. Now I've got another video kind of showing these off a little bit, but here I'll explain a little more. The brand of Zamberlan is Z-A-M-B-E-R-L-A-N, excuse me, L-A-N. And you can find these on the Zamberlan website. You can find them on some other different shoe websites. But it's all Gore-Tex waterproof, full grain leather, single piece leather all the way even through the tongue. It's single piece, except for here in the back. Double stitching. Very durable Vibram sole. It's insulated. Very great durable boot right here. And they actually have, Zamberlan's got some other models. One very similar to this, just one step up. It's a little heavier, a little more durable. You know, you could kind of judge for yourself. I decided to go with the lighter model. Still very strong, vertical, will last you a long time. Have your lighter weight, keep you as mobile as possible, be able to move quickly. So you definitely want, like I said, take care of your feet, number one. So you want to get a good pair of boots, invest in a great pair. You know, these were a little pricey, not the most expensive boots out there, but they will cost you a penny. So, but if you know, if you're going to invest anywhere, that's the way to go. So finally, now that I've got everything in the backpack, I'll show you one more thing real quick. This shirt right here, I don't know how many preppers have put thought into clothing. I haven't watched many videos out there, so I don't know if there's some out there. But I kind of spent some time thinking about it, and I actually found this shirt at a thrift store. It's 95% acrylic. If you don't know, acrylic is much like wool in its characteristics. It keeps heat in very well, but it also breathes well. When it gets wet, it dries fairly quickly. It repels stains and odors fairly well. So, and I kind of figured, you know, you're not going to have, it's not practical to have multiple sets of clothing in a survival situation, especially if you want to be mobile. You're not going to have a bunch of sweatshirts or jackets or things like that. So, you know, if you're going to have a single solution for a single piece of clothing, I figured a long sleeve button-up shirt like this of a good fabric is probably the best solution. You know, obviously long sleeve if it's cold out, you can roll the sleeves up. If it's warmer, you can button it up or have it unbuttoned. You can have the collar up or the collar down. So, and it's comfortable. So, I mean, for a single solution, I figure that's the best way to go. And then, I'm not going to show it in this video, but the pants that I'm wearing right now are black tactical pants. Proper is the brand, P-R-O-P-P-E-R. They are cotton polyester blend fabric, infused to be water repellent. The knees are double padded, the bottom is double padded, it's got cargo pockets, very durable, weather resistant. You know, you definitely don't want to wear jeans in a survival situation. If jeans get wet, they weigh you down. They don't dry quickly at all. They're not very versatile or flexible. You don't want to wear shorts, especially in the wilderness. So some pair of pants that are versatile, weatherproof, lightweight is the way you want to go. And then I've also got a very durable, strong, I can't remember the fabric right now, but I've got a nice strong belt on here that I got on REI.com. So you want a good belt too that can be able to hold your gear if you want to have your gear on your belt. So finally, I'll go ahead and throw this backpack on. This backpack here is JanSport brand. It's an outdoor hiking backpack. It is actually weatherproof. And it is waterproof. All the zipper seams are sealed. I'll explain what this hose is in a minute. But it's got the waist strap, which I'm buckling here. It's got the chest strap. It's got shoulder strap adjustments. And it's got compression straps on the side so you can cinch your load down. It's not external frame, it is internal frame, but it's very comfortable. Sits on the back well, weight's evenly distributed. And everything I showed you, except for the boots and the socks and the large bandana, or sorry, the large scarf, all fit into a single backpack. And as you can see, it's fairly compact, it's lightweight, relatively lightweight. It sits nice and snugly against the back. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I don't have a huge backpack going up over my head or anything like this. No other packs to carry on me. So it keeps you very mobile, relatively lightweight, ready to move on the go, and keeping you all self-contained. And finally, this hose right here. For those who don't know, although probably most of you do, you can buy backpacks with hydration bladders. This is Camelback brand. A lot of the ones out there are Camelback brand. This backpack didn't come with it, but I bought it separately. It has a pocket for a hydration bladder, so I put it in there. And I believe it holds about 2 or 3 gallons, somewhere around there, give or take. And it's actually a more durable model. You can find this on Amazon. You can drink directly from this spout, which goes directly to the backpack. Great solution for keeping your water, keeping a supply of water for long-term solution. You know, wherever you go, you've always got it with you. So you can kind of tuck it in, keep it secure, keep you moving quickly. So that's about it. That's my survival shit hits the fan backpack. Let me know what you think. I always like suggestions if you have any ideas for improvements or additions, or if you think that any of this stuff is impractical or unnecessary. I like to know that too. I love comments. I love criticism, critiquing. So hit me up with comments. And before I go, one last thing. Ron Paul 2012. Get out and vote. Appreciate you watching. Thank you.
Hey YouTube, Bear Prepper here. I'm going to make Skybird's laundry soap. So the first thing I did is we've got either Fells Naphtha or Pink Zode soap. So I took a bar of Pink Zode soap and I shredded it with my good old trusty cheapy grater. You can wash these, so you can use your regular grater. Now what I'm going to do is add warm water to the soap. And I'm going to melt that pink soap. Sorry I'm off camera. You can look at my chicken pot boiling. They had chicken on sale again, $1 a pound. And I'm almost out. Used all that chicken I did up, so it's time to make more. So, you put your soap in, and I'm holding the tripod, so bear with me. And you just melt it. Now, she said don't let it boil, just melt it. So I'm going to let that melt. And then we've got a 5-gallon bucket half filled with water. I'll mix all my ingredients in and then fill the rest with water. And I'll get back to you as soon as that pink soap is melted. Okay. So I've melted the soap into the water. And what it says to do is pour it in your bucket. It's a pretty pink. So I poured it in my bucket that's half full of water. As you can see down there. Now I'm going to add a ½ cup of borax. And a cup of super washing soda, Armor Hammer. Make sure it's washing soda, not baking soda. And then I'm going to take my trusty spoon and bend you down. And we're just going to simply stir it. Until it dissolves. Now this is Skybird's recipe, so you'll have to thank her for it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the rest of this bucket up with water, and I'm going to let it set overnight. And I'll show you in the morning if mine worked like hers did. Hey YouTube. Alright. It's been sitting for 24 hours. It is a gelatinous goo. So, what I'm going to do now is mix this up really good. And then I'm going to put 50% of it in this good old container. And then 50% of water. And I'll probably fill it up halfway because it is a big one. And it's really heavy. And I'll let you know how the laundry goes. Okay, I just want to make a general observation on this laundry detergent. Remember that 5-gallon bucket is diluted by 50%, so that's 10 gallons of laundry soap. One of the observations on my laundry is there's no perfumey smell, and there's no static electricity, and I didn't use any fabric softener. Just wonderful. I'm just really, really pleased. Thank you, Skybird Bird, for the recipe. Under $3 for 10 gallons of laundry soap? You can't beat that.